Hi, I'm Claire from the Kitschy Kitchen, and this is 10-Second Living, where I show you how to do practically anything in 10 seconds or less. But today, I'm actually going to talk to you about milk. Milk is something that most of us use every day in cooking or even by itself just in a cereal bowl, but I feel like a lot of us don't really know what is actually in it and why it's such a fantastic ingredient. So sort of to break it down, I have an array of dairy products here, all cow's milk. And so I'm starting with sort of the classic whole milk. So whole milk is sort of the milk that we think of like in terms of a milkman delivering a jug of milk. It's made up of about 85–90% water and then about 4% milk fat, so that's where you get those really delicious sort of creamy flavor and texture. And then there's also milk solids, so there's things like protein and vitamins and lots of good stuff. And then it also has about 4 to 5% sugar, which is known as lactose. And the sugar in milk is actually what allows milk to sort of caramelize. So when you're using it in making caramel sauce, if you have sweetened condensed milk and you're turning that into dulce de leche, the part of it that's turning brown is the naturally occurring sugars in the milk. So now to talk about milk fat, I have here half and half, which has about 10% milk fat. I have heavy whipping cream, which has about 36 to 40% milk fat. And then I have butter, which clocks in at usually about 80% milk fat. And so when you have milk fat, you want it to stay really nice and cold. So for instance, when you're whipping up whipping cream, if it's kind of lukewarm or room temperature, it's not gonna whip up very nicely because the milk fats have spread. So you want those to be nice and cold so they really maintain their structure. And then I have buttermilk, which I think for most people is a little bit of a mystery, but buttermilk traditionally was made out of the butter making process. So to make butter, you would typically leave milk out to kind of get a little bit fermented. And that actually would make the fats and the whey kind of separate a lot easier. And so the whey, or like the leftover liquid, is what would become buttermilk. But today what they typically do is they add a culture, sort of like when you make yogurt, to milk, and that gives it a really nice tart flavor. And then sometimes I'll add little flecks of butter to the buttermilk so we remember that it's buttermilk, but otherwise that's basically it. It's milk that has sort of a pleasant tartness that's been added. So I hope this kind of clarified some mysteries about milk for you. It's one of my favorite ingredients, so I hope you enjoyed learning all about it. For more recipes featuring this technique, check out my blog, thekitschykitchen.com, and my new cookbook, The Kitschy Kitchen, available where books are sold.